for teachers and students, right? So I'll just give like a quick summary of what this is about, and then we can go further into it. For this session, we'll be talking about Kolibri, how to install it, how to use Kolibri as a teacher, how to get feedback from students, and yeah, if there are any other things that we need to share as well. So Kolibri is basically an app, right? It works. I think it works on mobile phones. It works on on laptops. It works offline. So there's a way that it is set where you install it on a particular PC, and then you could share it with other PCs around it if you have a browser. So you just need to install it on one PC, and then the other PCs connect with it via a browser. Now, normally there are usually two sessions to this. Um, I take some part which is like really focused on the usage of the platform, while what's his name, Lekon, takes the part that focuses on installing the platform and using it offline. But this session is largely focused on the interaction. So I will be talking about that and be using the online platform, the demo online, to practicalize what this is about. So again, the Kolibri platform is a platform that teachers can use with their students. It allows the teachers to send assignments and classworks and tests to their students, and then the students can do them and respond via the platform, and then the teacher would get all the data they need about the students' performance. They can realize where the gaps of the students are, and then they can also realize where the strengths of the students are. And for that, it gives them the right intelligence to act, it gives them the right data to support the learning of the students. So they can be exact in saying, hey, I know this particular student is good at some place, so I'll not be wasting my time there, while this student is deficient in this particular place. So maybe I should spend more time there. So that's what it's about. So largely you can set up Colibri in a school and get the resources and use the resources both online and offline. For the online version, you need to connect to the internet, obviously, and then you could kick off your interaction there. There are lots of online resources for you to use. And if it's offline, you need to download some of those resources to your local PC. So again, you are able to dedicate one particular PC to so if you have a school, you just need to download, you just need to choose one computer and set it up on that computer, like download the software, install it, download all the resources that you need. And then afterwards, you can now get other devices like other phones or laptops around. And then the next thing you do is you ensure all of them are on the same network. What that means is that all of them are using the same Wi-Fi. For example, if you're using a wireless connection, if you're using wire connection, then you need the network cables, right? Although I think that is like gradually phasing out. So you largely need, some schools still have it anyway, but for others, they like, once everybody just connects on the same, let's say SpectraNet, you can connect up to 20 to 30 PCs via SpectraNet to that singular PC. Now, the point of that SpectraNet is not because of the data. Remember, it's offline. need to connect online to be able to continue to send information back. The alternative is that they do whatever work they need to do on their PCs, and then when they go back to school, they will connect to the Wi-Fi or to the network, and then all the work that they've done will be sent around the network. So every other person will have a copy of that. Or if it's something they want to share with their teacher, now they can share it back. So it stores it while it's still on their PC, and then once they connect back to the network, everything gets updated. Now the best thing is now to bring everything online. Is that at some time or the other, the teacher tries to connect to the internet to upload every interaction that has happened on their local PC to the online version, so that when they leave the school or go somewhere else, they can always access the internet to most of this information. So I don't know where the noise is coming from. Okay, I think it's me that has a microphone.
So I think there's a bad noise from there.
Yeah, there is. Since you're not talking, maybe you could just mute it for now. Like mute your mic.
My microphone?
Yeah. Until when you need to talk, you could just turn it back on. Okay. Yeah, thanks. So so basically, I don't know if you have any questions so far. That's like the introductory part of the platform. Before I go further into the rest of the of the demo. Like, do you understand what this is about so far?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be back there. First session is very clear. The second session, so.
Yeah. Tomiwa is asking a question that can it be downloaded on any device? Yes, absolutely. It can be downloaded on any device. So again, it works offline and online. You could so there are largely like two ways to use it. You could use it individually, or you could use it as a school, like as a group, as a learning unit. When you want to use it individually, you have like maximum control. You could download it on your device. You don't need to connect to any person. You just need to be using it like that, or you could go online and use the resources as you want. If you want to use it as a school unit, then they need to assign which computer will be the server or who will be the admin. It's like setting up a new school, right? You'd have one person who decides, okay, the school is going to have an admin, then the school is going to have teachers, and the school is going to have classes, and the school is going to have students, okay? So when you do that, then you set up the platform just like that. When we go into the demo, you're going to see what I'm saying. And after that, you say, okay, this student is in this class, that student is in that class. Then you give the students their passwords and your username and passwords. Then afterwards, they can log in. But at this point, everybody is connected to one another, right? The students belong to a class, the teachers belong to a class, the teachers and the class and the students belong to a school, right? So at that point, you can still download it individually, but you need to maintain the connection with the rest of the class from time to time, so that when you do your work, you can always share it with your teacher. So for you to share it with your teacher has to be in the same school as you are. So that's like the difference between using it individually and using it as a group. But yeah, it can be downloaded to any device, and it works offline, right? Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. So there are no more questions, I'll just move on to the next part. So I'll let me just go next to sign out of here. Okay. All right. So if you go to the learning, okay, let me just go to learning equality side so you can start from the start. Learning equality. All right. Okay, I think that's the wrong URL. Push here. Should C, Control V. Yeah, so this platform is developed by an organization called Learning Equality. All right. And Kolibri is just like one of the tools that they've built for education. It's like the major tool that they built basically, actually. So what we'll be doing here is that when you get to the learning equality side, you can always now go to Kolibri. See Kolibri here at the top. Kolibri at the top. Now you click on download if you want to download it to your device. And if you click on download, it gives you the option of download on Windows, download on Ubuntu, download on Mac, download as a Python, and download using Python, download the Raspberry Pi version. Now, if you're using a Windows PC, you just click on download here. If you're using a Mac, you just click on download here, and then it starts downloading. Okay, but I won't be downloading here. I'll be using the online demo for what we're about to do. So that's it for downloading. It's like pretty straightforward. You see that when you try it out. The next thing will now be so that they're not like two instances. So instead of, so for this session that we're having now, they also had already tried as much as possible to explain how the platform can be used. Okay, so if you click on documentation, it tells you, it shows you the full documentation for using the platform. You can see installing Kolibri, running Kolibri for learners, for coaches, for admins. This is essentially most of the things we'll be covering today. So you could click on full documentation if you want to go through everything by yourself. You see everything is still here. And then this is a full guide. Like if you sit down to go through this by yourself, you know everything about how to use Kolibri. So let me explain again. There are like three sides to Kolibri. The first is the admin side. Now, let's think about this in a very simple way. Like the owner of a school. If you are going to set up a school today, there are three categories of people. The first is the administration, right? The administrator, the principal, right? The next are the teachers, right? And the third set of people are the students. The teachers and the students usually belong to a class, right? The teachers interact with the students. Teachers send work to the students. Students send work back to the teachers, right? Their assignments, their classworks, their tests, right? The teachers then send feedback if they want to back to the students on what they would like them to do based on the work that the students have done. So that interaction is there. And that's the interaction that they're trying to replicate on Kolibri. And then the first part again is the admin. The admin decides how many classes are there, who is in what class, and all that stuff. So this is how this entire platform is structured. So just have that at the back of your mind. So to install Kolibri, again, you just need to click on which one works for you based on the device that you have. And then you do the setup, the initial setup of the facility. And there's a video that's explaining that here. So I'm going to try not to flog this kind of things that you could easily just go through by yourself. right? But there's a video right here on how you could set up the platform offline. Okay, so yeah, basically, I've downloaded it once. I don't want to have to reinstall and install and all that again because I usually have several sessions trying to teach people how to use the platform. So I think the best thing is just for you to come here and just follow. It's a very simple guide. It's screenshots that tells you how you can install the stuff on the platform. So I'll be focusing more on how the platform actually runs by itself. So again, you could always use this documentation here to get more information about things that you like to know about the platform. So now let's go back to the demo. So the demo is what we'll be working with here. And this is because I'm focusing again on the interaction on the platform. So there are three kinds of the users, the learner, the coach, the admin. So the first people this page actually allows you demo the usage of the platform as if it's yours. But you see other people's contents there because several other people are trying to use the platform as well and demo it and all that. So let's sign in as an admin, okay? The admin here, the demo stuff is admin demo, right? As you can see, it's just right here. And then the password is pass. So you sign in, okay? So yeah, basically that's how it works. I wanted to say you need to sign up and all that. No, you don't need to do that on this demo account. And if it's for the offline version, if it's the other version that you're doing by yourself, of course you can sign up if you want to and use the platform. Okay, so okay. So this is the admin. The admin again has authority over classes, over users, and all that. Now the difference between what we are doing here now is that if we had downloaded the stuff by ourselves, we would have had to set up the facility. Okay, the facility is just like it's just really just naming the stuff and say, okay, this is a school and all that, and these are these are the things I'll need here. So let me go back here. I'm sorry. So yeah, just follow up. Okay. Yeah, basically this is like a setting up route. Just administrative stuff. So if Lekon were here, is one that focuses on this side to allow you to run you through how to set up locally, right? So back to when you've created a facility, you have classes, you have users. Okay, you have classes, you have users. But let me try and see if I can create a new stuff here for this particular session. Let's try create an account. Demo facility. Let's see. X1. Continue providing this. Okay. Okay. So yeah, basically it doesn't work that way. I think you just created a learner account. So let me just go back. So yeah, we can just sign in. So you can do the same on your side as well. You can just sign in as admin demo, and then pass. to sign in. And so you have access to the class and then the users, right? And then settings. If you want to, there's data as well. So classes, the first thing that you naturally want to do is create classes for your school. So let's say we're working with just one class here. You can create a new class. Let's call this class Ibadan School. Okay, save. When you do that, the class is created. All right. So the class has been created now. Now I need to go and let me go and look for the class. Ibadan School. Yeah, this is the class here. So now we are inside the class now. Okay. So it tells you assign coaches or enroll learners. Now for us to be able to assign coaches, we need to have created coaches in the first instance. And for us to enroll learners, we need to have created learner accounts in the first instance. So let's wait here and then move over to users. I mean, let's stop this here and move over to users. Okay. So you can create a new user for your school here. So let's start with okay, let's move on. Password. You are learner. You can decide what kind of stuff you are creating. Are you creating a learner? Are you creating a coach? So let's assume Muiwa is a coach, like a teacher. So you click and then you can decide, are you creating a class coach or are you creating a facility coach? A facility coach has access to all the classes, while a class coach has access to just the class that they've been assigned to. Okay. So yeah, so you could say, okay, I want this class, this coach to be able to access just SS1 stuff, or I want them to be able to access all the classes wherever they are. So let's assume that Muiwa is a class coach. Identify, not necessary. Bet year 1958. Gender male. I'm not using female. Okay, so then we create save. Okay. So now we can look for Muiwa here. And Muiwa is a facility coach. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So Muiwa is, please, are we following you? Have I lost us somewhere?
No, we are following.
Oh, okay. So you just create, so we've created a question. You could just search for it. Now, naturally, the reason why there are so many names here is because this is a public account. Okay, this is a very public account. That's why there are so many names here. If we had downloaded this separately and tried to create our own accounts, then, because now we're using a public demo, that's why all these are here. If we had done it separately, we will not see any other names here aside the one that we've created by ourselves. Okay, so Muiwa is a coach here just to check stuff. You could edit Muiwa's details, you could reset his password, or you could delete the account. So just think about it. You're the owner of the school. You could delete the coach, you could edit their details, yeah, and you could reset their password. Now let's create a student's account. So I'm going to use Inyolua. Oh, right. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Sorry. Inyolua. Right. So Inyolua, let's assume, is also Inyolua. Okay. Let's assume the password is also in Yonua. Then let's assume she's a learner, right? Not learner like that, but a student. So, and she's female, and she was born in the year 1903. She's practically older than the teacher. But yeah, so we save that. And so we have one teacher. So let's create a final one. One more account. So I'm creating. Yeah, I'm creating Tomiwa's accounts now. So Tomiwa, so see Tomiwa. Oh, Tomiwa already exists. Okay, Tomiwa 2. Tomiwa 2. Password. Tomiwa password. So Tomiwa is also a learner, and I think he's male. And he was born in 1947. So thank you. So we have three users now, right? We have one teacher and 2 students. So now we now go on to assign them to the class as we wanted to do earlier. Okay. So the class that we're working with is Ibadan School. So this is the school here. Then we assign coach to this class, right? When you are assigned. Okay, so we already appears here. Then we enroll learners. Tell me what here. And enroll the second learner. Also learner. Okay, so that's so we have one teacher here and 2 students. Right. So this is everything that an admin can do. The admin is not in charge of teaching, is not in charge of is not in charge of getting feedback from the students and all that. So this is all the admin gets to do. The admin can delete or remove students. The admin can change their password and all that. And then the settings, there are also settings here. You could give some liberties to the people on your platform. You can allow them edit their username. You can decide to allow them edit their full name and all those stuff, right? The data is here is for you to be able to download the data log. You could also import or export users, right? And sync facility data. This sync means you moving your content. I told you that if it's working offline, you need to integrate online every now and then, maybe once a week, so that when people leave the school where they are connected to the organization's network, to the school's network, they will still be able to do similar. They'll still be able to interact with the teacher after they've left the school. So that's why it's necessary to upload the information, everything. So this is just like what we call an upload. The offline version exists with the online version. So when you're working on the offline version, if you are disconnected and you're offline, right, it means that a lot of data is currently offline that is not available online. So when you sync the data by just connecting to the internet, by just clicking sync here, every data that was in the offline facility now moves online. Do you understand? So everything is now in sync, such that when a student now leaves school, let's say the student goes home and is no longer in that offline network, and they do their work, it's going to reflect on every other on the teacher's PC, for example, on the server, on the central repository, basically, that everyone can access. Now, when people go home, right, and all that, they also now and they do all their work and they're connected to the internet. You want to ensure that when they return to school, that all that information that now happens online, that has happened online, all that records are now online. You need to transfer them back to the offline device as well. So that's when you conduct another sync. So it's like your sync is ensuring that at every point in time, the data that is on your offline facility is similar to the one in the online facility. So that's why you do the same thing. Okay. So now let's step out of this place and actually now go into the classes respectively. So we sign out. So remember, we already created some accounts, so we can use those accounts to sign in. So let's say Muyiwa account, Muyiwa password. Right. Okay. So this is Muyiwa's stuff as a facility coach. That's why you can access all this stuff. If I had made Muyiwa a maybe I should do that. Let me go back, please. So this is less confusing. Let me make Muyiwa, since we're dealing with just one class, let me make Muyiwa just a regular coach. Edit details. Okay, save. So I sign out again. So you sign as Muyiwa. Muyiwa password as well. Cool. So you can see the difference now. So Muyiwa now has access to just its class, unlike before where we had access to all the classes, right? So maybe when you're creating the stuff for, let's say, the principal, if you're creating an account for the principal could be like a facility coach or maybe one of their major teachers there. So that they have access to all the classes. But for the regular teachers, you probably just don't want to complicate their stuff and just give them access to only the classes that they are assigned to. So for the teachers, you have the class home. So it shows you the number of learners that are attached to this class, right? And then you are the coach. Then you have report here. This is like a quick feedback for quizzes, for class activity and lessons, right? Then you have reports, right? So there are two things that a teacher has to do. The first thing is a teacher has to plan the class. So the teacher can set lessons, the teacher can set quizzes, and the teacher can put people into learning groups. These are the activities that the teacher can undertake. Now, when the teacher has done all that and sent them to the students, and the students did their work, right? Then he gets reports. The reports can come in form of lessons, like how many people read which stuff, right? Right? It could come in form of quizzes. If you send them a quiz to do, then you need them to like answer all the questions and send feedback back to you. You get a report here. If you assign them to groups, then you want to see how that group is faring. And then these learners just shows you the people in your class. And then you can click on, so you can see this data here. You can see the groups that Inua is, the average quiz score. So if she has done several quizzes, you can see what's the average score that she has. You could have exercise, how many exercises has she completed, how many resources has she viewed, and what was her last activity. And you can do this for all the students in your class. Okay, so that's how this part works. So we'll go further now and try to plan a lesson. We'll try to set a lesson, then set a quiz, and we might try to assign people to groups. So lesson first, create a new lesson. So let's title lesson, let's say it's an English class. So let me say ICT class. ICT, I don't know, right? Description, how to use computer, right? So you can decide whether you want the entire class to receive this lesson or you want specific students to receive it. Okay, so you can decide, oh, okay, do I want to send this particular lesson to everyone? Wait, Muiwa, if you're talking, I can hear you. Are you talking to me? No. No, okay. Were you talking to me? No. Okay. So so you could set so when you create a class, a lesson, right? A lesson is just like you creating a topic that you want the students to learn, right? You can send it to the entire class, or you could send it to individual learners. So you can decide, oh, I just want to send this lesson to Iyoluwa, I just want to send it to Tomiwa. So it's only Tomiwa that receive it in his on his own dashboard, or whichever. But let's assume we're sending it to the whole class in this instance. Okay, then we'll save changes. So you created a lesson called ICT. Now you can go and check in, okay, what resources do I want to add to this place? Now, if you click on, sorry, if you click on manage resources, then that's where you come into. So now Kolibri has a large repository of resources that are already uploaded online. Now you could also create your own, but it's like a long process, and there's a specific software for that, which you can, it's called the Kolibri Studio, for people to create their own resources and share with their students. But that's something entirely different that Lakon would have to undo for that. But for this, you have it loaded with content already, like lots of content. Now the issue we've had since we started using Kolibri is that sometimes those are not really local content. Like there are certain stuff you not see there. You couldn't see Yoruba stuff there. You wouldn't see uh, maybe a particular way in which physics should be. Maybe let's say any RGC curriculum. Anyway, is not structured along any RGC curriculum. So it looks like for a lot of time this is useful for things like general knowledge, and yeah, a few other things like that. So just bear with the platform, right? And so
Hello?
another thing, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Sorry for cutting you short. I have a question.
All right.
Are there no provisions to like create content on this platform? This is Tomoa speaking, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. There is, let me put it that way. There's something called the Kolibri Studio. Let me Google Kolibri Studio. Sorry, give me a second. Let me go back to the inequality site.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can go on with what you were talking about. Maybe when we are done, we would go back to the questions.
Okay, absolutely. So yeah, I just wanted to, it's like a short brief stuff, right? So there's something called the Kolibri Studio for people who want to develop content. To be honest, it's like a long process, right? It should be shorter, but and this guy handles most of that. What's his name? Lekon handles things. I will take you through the session, right? That concerns creating content, downloading content, and all that stuff. So, but there's something called the Kolibri Studio that allows people to create content and share with the library. So this is the library. This is the content library, right? So you add, the way it works is that you add to this content library, and then when it's approved, then you can now download it to your own platform. Do you understand? You can now use it here within the software. But the first route is to create the content, upload it, they go through it, they accept it, and then they make it available within the application. Now, there are other Nigerian platforms that makes things like more easy, right? I used to work with one. So there's this platform called Study Lab 361. This is 12 o'clock already. Okay, let's hope we can finish before we run. So this, for example, is a platform that focuses on local content, and they work pretty much the same way, right? So you have local content, you can easily add things if you want to, and yeah, so that's how that works. So let's go back to this. So here, so the next thing would be that you search for your content, the content that you're looking for. So let me see if this exists. Okay. I don't know. There's nothing around ICT here, that's weird. So let me try English. Okay, so I know. So this is an English resource. You can add as many resources as you want. Maybe they're in line with what you want the students to learn. And then when you're done, sorry. Yeah, can exit search. Okay, 3 resources have been selected and you close. Okay, so 3 different resources have been added to this. Maybe I should go and edit it for more clarity. So I need to like highlight that content is a major issue on this platform. Yeah, writing content. Introduction to English language. If there's anything like that, save changes. So content is a major issue for this platform, but if you understand how this works, you'll be able to use several other platforms like this study lab. I think that's essentially what you likely take away from this session. And when you're using it, maybe there are some parts that will be useful for you, chat. Hi, okay. Someone sending me a message.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
You said
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I got a hi in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, for a while we were lost a bit. So I think you should continue with the old training, then we'll come back for questions, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Like, like I think you should just move on with the training aspects, then you treat the questions after. So we are not here and there.
So could you type it in the chat? I didn't hear you at all.
She's saying that it would be great if we can continue with the training, and so we come back to the questions.
Okay.
So we are not here and there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay.
So
You
I
can hear
think
me
you
clearly
stopped
now,
that.
right?
Yeah, sure. I think you stopped that searching for ICT content on this, maybe. No.
Oh yeah. So that's where I am now. This is where I am now. So I changed it back to English just to make this more aligned. All right. So you have English here as the overall topic, and then under English you can add resources, as many resources as you want you want the students to go through. So once you've done this, you can now click on. You can decide to check each of the resources themselves by just clicking on them and seeing what exactly. So these are video content, for example, that you want the students to go through. All right, you could always add more if you want to. So let me see if I can add some PDF fish kind of stuff here. It's on my network. Okay, yeah, all right. So let me go back to English again. So I'm almost done with this part. I'm just looking for different, these are all videos. I want to see something more, less video. So it's like everything is, the one I'm currently seeing is not real videos. All right, so let me just add a few other stuff about coronavirus. Okay, for educators, English. Wow, this is a lot. Talking to children. Okay. This PDF. Right. Pretty much loading. Yeah, please give that a second to load. Okay. Yeah, so added the resources. We can close this and go back. So now that you've added the resource, it doesn't automatically show to your students until you click on visible to learners here. Oh, okay. So if you click on visible to learners here, then your students will be able to see it. So, and that's it with setting up a lesson. So I'm sure you should be able to find that here. Now, so this is one lesson already now. Please let me know if you are back on.
Yeah, we are following. We are following.
Are you back on now? Because I'm seeing here that you're trying to restart.
Yes, you can go on. We are back on now.
Hello?
Can continue. We're all together, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, all right. Thanks. So, so this are for lessons, for example. Then you have quizzes. Okay. Okay, so for quizzes, you could click on new quiz and try to set up a quiz. Let's go easy. Let's just click on this internet safety. And there's a module of quiz on digital life. And then you click on digital life quiz for what you want to create. How many questions you want, you could set it. And then you could decide to put in this entire quiz. Then you click on continue. You can decide if you want to randomize it or you want to, you can decide if you want to randomize it or you want it fixed. Right, randomized means each students get to see different set of questions at different times, right? Fixed means everybody sees the same question in the same line. So these are the questions there. And then it highlights what the answers are. Okay, so you can click on finish. So when you're done with that, a quiz appears here. All right. Now, so that's the part for the teacher. The teacher gets to create a lesson and the teacher gets to create a quiz. And then there are groups where you can, so groups are essentially you deciding, or some students learn a particular way, or some students will be grouped together, maybe within a class. You could easily just create a new group call it fast learners. Okay. Yeah. And then you've created fast learners. You can now add students to your group. You can say, hey, I think that Tomiwa is a fast learner. Okay. And then Tomiwa is the only person in the fast learner group. And then we can go all groups, go back, can decide to create a second group and say quick wait. Right, probably means the same thing. But yeah, you can assign somebody else to that group as well. In bold. And here you go. Okay. So you can always add more than one person to each group. So this is also. So now your report. Now nothing comes here until your students have done stuff. Okay. For this one, it says English. 2 people who are in your class, 2 of them have not started. They've not done anything concerning this. And then quizzes, right? It also tells you the 2 people in your class have not started. Do you understand? So if you can click on start quiz to allow them have access to the quiz. Like when you create a quiz, if you remember, when you create a lesson, you need to click on visible to learners to allow the students to see it. And for the quiz, you need to click on start quiz to allow them to see it, unless you will not see it at all. So now we've gone through the simple part of what the teacher does. The teacher creates lessons, creates quizzes, creates groups, and then the teacher gets reports. All right, so now let's sign out and sign in as a student, one of the students. Okay, so we're out now. So I'm going to sign in as Tomiwa now. Okay, sign in, Tomiwa password. Oh, sorry, I think it's the wrong account, so I have to go back. Yep, I know that. Change user, Tomiwa to next. Tomiwa. Okay, so we signed in as Tomiwa. Now Tomiwa can see his class here, which is the Ibadan school. Now, if he was in several classes, he will also see the other classes here, right? So you can click on this, and now you can see the 2 things that the teacher has assigned to him. The teacher has sent him digital quiz as a quiz. The teacher has also sent him English lessons. Do you see that? And so you can try to attend. You can try to go through the English quiz, for example, the English session, for example, and just click on one, right? If you want, you could download the resource or go through it here. So I guess
future tense.
Is to watch the video. The internet
This is in English
okay.
from espressoenglish.net. Many students use will for everything in the future, but this is not completely correct. There are various future tenses in English, and in this lesson, you are going to learn when to use each one. For predictions, use will, won't, or going to. For example, the economy will improve this year is the same as the economy's going to improve this year. In general, with first conditional sentences, using the word if, we use will and won't. For example, if you practice every day, your English will improve. If you don't study, tension is when
So
are when you have already taken some action to make the plan a reality in the future. There are 3 possible tenses to use with plans and arrangements.
So basically So the students could go through all this, and then it's going to start reading on their end that, so this is from not started, it will change to in progress, and it will report the same thing. Sorry, I dropped off a bit, so I'll reshare my screen now, and continue. Just give me a second. Okay. So yeah, so that's the students interacting with the stuff, and when the student is done, the students could close it and move on. So with that, it shows that the students have started working on this. Could also do the same um, for the other resources here. Read as much as they want, and yeah. So that's pretty much it on the lesson side. So there's a calibration here that shows how far the students have gone in consuming all the resources that the teacher sends to them. Okay, so the same thing for the quizzes. Okay, the students could attempt the quizzes as well. These are questions, and they could select which answer they think is correct, right? Do the same here and there. It's interactive, the entire thing. Sorry, I'm just picking very random stuff here. Sorry about that. This, and then when they are done, let's find a question. Okay, can click on next. Yes, next. Okay. So when they're done, you could just close it. So it shows that this person is done with everything. I don't know why it's still saying, should say completed, right? Because we've gone through everything. Yeah. So okay, submit quiz. Then you can submit quiz when you're done. So by submitting quiz, it tells you you've completed this stuff. Right? For the lessons, you just need to have read every single thing there. Now, these are for your classwork. Now, in addition to what your teachers are sending you via your class, you could also go through different topics by yourself. So you could choose from this wide array of topics to read from, right? Okay, this is the Kolibri stuff I was talking about. There's an entire lesson here around uploading content to Kolibri. But yeah, so we'll skip that already. So the students can basically just go through any of these and check them out and use them. Okay, so recommended stuff will be what the platform recommends to the students. Like this Kolibri platform, it randomly selects things and then shares them with students here so that they could, oh yeah, they're recommending biology, they're recommending counting with small numbers, and you could basically just interact with that. So those are the those are the things that the students can do. The students can get assigned work and they can do it, and then when they are done, the teacher gets it. Now let's go back to the teacher account. Sign out here. Sign in, username. We're going back to where you are. Next, where you are. Okay. So so now you can see the difference here. Now the teacher can see every person, every activity that the students have done. Okay. Basically, you could see that completed by one of two. That means the entire class consists of 2 students. It's telling the teacher that one of the students have completed the stuff, right? Same here, saying one of 2 have started. That means one of the students out of the 2 students that are in the class. So if it was 10, it would say like maybe 1 of 10. If it was 5 people that started it, it would say 5 people out of 10 people have started this session. Now the class activity is telling the teacher exactly what Tomiwa has done, right? But this is like a random stuff in the sense that every new update is shown here. So if you knew I was doing stuff on our own side, it's going to be showing here as well. So it's just providing every update here. So you could decide to view all the activity that has happened in your class. So you see everything that your students are doing concerning interacting with the students. So this is a form of reporting, but let's go fully into reports. Okay, now I could click on English and say, okay, future tenses. The total amount of minutes that everybody has spent, the average time that has been spent on this particular topic by the students is 3 minutes. Only 1 or 2 people have started it. The same thing for this talk to your children about coronavirus stuff. Like the maximum the student has spent is 10 seconds. Now, with this kind of information, you could determine whether your students are spending enough time going through your courses or not. Do you understand? So if they're spending enough time going through it, you know, okay, maybe they're not understanding enough what they're trying to learn. If they are spending too much time on it, maybe it is too difficult for them to learn. So these are the kind of little intelligences that you're able to gather that could help you manage your students better. So you could also now click on learners and say, okay, you want to do the reporting by learners. So you could easily see that Ioluwa has not started at work at all, while Tomiwa has started. Now I want to focus on what Tomiwa has done. Then you can see the information around Tomiwa's activity on these resources. You can also download this report for yourself. So if you go back again, let's go back to quizzes, right? Now for quizzes, the average score is 38%. That means Tomiwa got 38% basically, or because only Tomiwa has done it. But if it was the entire class, it's also going to calculate the average. So you can determine whether your students in general are faring well or they are not. Do you understand? And then you could say, well, completed by 1 of 2. That means only 1 person has done it. You assign to, you could also end the quiz. Maybe you don't want any other person to do it anymore. All right. But you can now go further and check into it and say, hey, I want to see what the level of interaction with the quiz is. So you could see here that Tomiwa answered all the questions, right, and got 38%. Ioluwa has not started, so we can't determine the score here. All right, so you can now also check out what are the difficult questions, what are the questions that most people are getting wrong. So in this instance, because only 1 person has done it, so it's just aggregated, it just took out all the questions that Tomiwa got wrong. If 20 people had done it, this difficult question will be an average of, it's going to be like a selection of the most common topics that were got, the most common questions that were got wrong. Do you understand? So it's going to be a case of, if out of 100 students that try something, if 80 people got it wrong, then that question will appear here. Just to let you know that, okay, these are all the questions that I need to go over again with my students. It's not that 1 person did not just got the question wrong. It feels like every person that tried this question in my class got it wrong. So there's something that's wrong with that. So you want to go back and check that, okay, what is wrong with this question? And maybe you can now click on the question and go through it, right? And what the next one, then if there are other people that have tried it, you see all the people that tried it without getting it right. And you can decide to show the answer or not. So basically, that's how it works. What else? And then again, you can end the quiz here. Report. So a very, I don't know, a very simple platform. You could also go by groups and say, these are the groups that I have. How are they faring in class, right? You can also go by learners, right? How well is each student faring, right? I think that's like really all to it. So it's basically just the same interaction that you have offline that was transferred to online, but with more intelligence, because you now have actual data that you can work with. You can easily determine what kind of questions are difficult for which students. You can easily determine how engaged your students are with certain resources that you're sharing with them. You can easily determine their progress. Like if they had issues on the first day, have they continued to have issues, right? Or are they getting better and all that? And that's essentially things that teachers want to usually need help with, because they're dealing with lots of students at the same time. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Abib. It was a wonderful session. I've learned a lot about Kolibri. You have exposed me. I I have read about Kolibri before now, but
Yeah.
I don't think I understood it to this level. However, my question is one: how do we integrate this project into our project in OAC Badon? Because now for our Kolibri project, we want to reach out to schools, low income schools. And if we are going to reach out to these schools, that means we'll be going there with these devices every time, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And another thing is that I think this project can work more in can
Well,
you hear me?
yeah, you said the
Oh,
project can
okay.
work more with what?
I don't know. I think it works more with schools that have these
Devices.
devices on ground that really know how to go about it. Because I was just wondering if you go to like a low income community school now, like let's say public school,
Mm-hmm.
um, then you may have different challenges. Challenges on
Yeah.
there is a possibility that a student or a learner has not even access to a laptop before.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
So
absolutely
I
correct.
really
Actually,
don't know how
you're actually very correct.
and the content, this is Ibadan.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So that's
You
a
understand what
major
I'm saying? This is
that's a major challenge here. Even Victoria recognizes it. The issue with
Ibadan. I don't know how these
yeah,
kids can actually learn via this platform.
and benefit from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my
Mhm.
question now is, how can we make this thing sustainable in our community? I mean, our community in Ibadan, using Ibadan
Yeah,
as an example.
as an example, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So first thing first, this only works if there are devices. Without devices, it doesn't, right? It really doesn't. So, what happened in Lagos, for example, was that there were devices that we take to these schools, right? We take these devices to the schools at Takwa Bay, a really slum area, and run them through the platform, and then they get to use it. But that's a very isolated case. Okay, so you for you to be able to use that in other communities, you also need to have devices. Either they have devices or you have devices for them. And because of the individualized nature of this, in the sense that each student needs to use their own resources by themselves, like one computer to one person, or even if they are sharing resources, they need to be able to share time and say, okay, on if the teacher give us assignments, then so and so time. So it disrupts a lot of things, to be honest, right? And the best way would be, okay, how do we use it in this context? So you could use it in one. The first way is first understanding that the way this platform works is first the most important thing, right? Teachers being able to communicate with students, students being able to communicate with teachers. So if you can teach that in the first instance, that's one success in the sense that people are aware that you can do this. It's different from people now use it every day, right? For example, you know what it means for to take like to you know what a plane a flight feels like. It doesn't mean you use a flight every single day. So having that experience of flying, right, gives you lets you understand that okay, there are platforms that work like this, right? So that's like one of the first things that you that is could be useful for. You understand that there are platforms where teachers could share work with students, students to share work back to to teachers. They will get feedback. They will use that data to improve on the work of the students. Now that's the first way it works. That's the first usefulness of this entire thing. The second usefulness will be uh, you using this as simply a tool to let teachers embrace more digital learning. Do you understand? Because let's say the teacher now has access. Let's say it's only a teacher that has the computer. Now, they can either use that computer with the rest of the class without necessarily sending them work. Just say, okay, I have resources here that I could use. I have some resources on coronavirus, on Kolibri that I could use to teach my class. So teachers can use it as a repository and say, okay, let me go and check if these resources are available here. The third thing is that they could easily just go to YouTube or any other online platform to download the things that they need. But they need to be aware that these things exist. Okay? So, but in terms of actual operations of day-to-day work, it's unlikely that this is going to work at this time, right? I'm saying this from experience because I used to work for a Nigerian company that's doing something similar, right? And the challenge is usually first the devices. You need devices to. It's like a student's going to class without a notebook, right? Without a notebook, it's pointless, right? They can't write on their hand. They can't memorize stuff. They need to have notebooks. Even if they don't have textbook, they need to have notebook. So the same way, they need to have digital notebook as well for them to be able to run this kind of platform. So what OAC could do now, what OAC Ibadan could do now is really just introductory and say, okay, we want to introduce you to digital learning. Do you understand? We're introducing you to digital learning. This is how it means. This is what it means to learn using a digital platform. Okay? And then that's it for now. Because without the devices, basically they can't even some private schools don't have enough devices. Not to not talk of public schools. So the final thing could be okay, can we use this to get sponsors that can supply devices? If you're able to do that, absolutely good, right? You could use that story to get I don't know some funding if you want, if you can, so that devices to be supplied to certain schools. So in the computer room, for example, you can install this, and then whenever the students go to the computer room, they can always interact with this. I think that's the likeliest way that it will eventually work if they have some devices. But without that, it's important to be clear, as you had raised earlier, that for operational day-to-day work is unlikely going to work for now. I don't know if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, you have answered the question perfectly. I was also thinking that for this to work, our targeted populace was actually the low income school.
Yeah.
However, we talked about the private schools. It's possible that they have this approach already,
Yeah.
whereby they have systems like they go to
Mhm.
computer room and all that. We
Yeah.
can also create such awareness in that school that making them aware, introducing them to this platform where teachers can relate, interact with their students, and students can interact with their teachers, vice versa. Installing the software for them so
Yeah.
that they can use it in their school on a day-to-day activity. However, in Ibadan, we have received like 9 devices, 1 laptop, and 8 other um, um,
Like tablets.
tablets.
Or
And
it
I'm
looks
also
like they've
thinking that,
transferred the battle,
yes,
they've
8
transferred Lagos devices
tablets.
to you guys.
Are you serious? No, I think they just got this one, so
I
not
understand.
Lagos
Oh, okay.
devices. So.
Oh, okay, okay. Are they like colorful
Yes,
laptops?
I think they just got this. What did you say?
Are they like colorful laptops? Like laptops with different
No,
colors?
no, no.
HP.
They are
No.
no, no. It's
Okay,
just
okay.
one laptop and tablets. Just one laptop. The
Oh, okay,
laptop
okay.
is even yet. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you were
another
giving
thing I'm
just one
thinking is
laptop.
that
Did you say, wait, I'm sorry, did you say 9 laptops
yes,
or
one laptop. No, one laptop. One
Oh, okay,
laptop.
okay, okay.
Then
Okay.
8 tablets. These are the
Oh, okay.
tablets.
Okay, okay, okay. I get that now.
Yes. Yes. One laptop and 8 tablets. From your
Mm-hmm.
session, I can say that I think the laptop will work as the server where all
Yeah.
resources will be downloaded and the tablet will not connect to the
Exactly.
laptop.
Exactly.
So I'm also thinking that because I don't know if we go to classes,
Mm-hmm.
whenever we go for outreaches, in a class we can now have up to over 40 students. How can we
Yeah.
share 8 tablets amongst 40 students? That is
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Another thing is that I'm thinking if we can now reach out to the teachers now, making them aware that there is a platform that exists that can do what they do in classroom
Yeah.
digital, like
Mm-hmm.
digital learning, introducing it to their teachers. If
Yeah.
we can have a cluster of like maybe 10 teachers per session or something, I think
Mm-hmm.
that would go a long way than reaching out to the students. I think the major of the objective of this platform or of this project is that we reach out to the learners, like the students now, right?
Okay. Uh,
Yes, so I'm thinking that because that I don't think it is achievable. We may not be able to achieve because we don't have the amount of devices that will
that
be enough for the
for the
students.
students, yeah.
But we can now reach out to the teachers, now
Mm-hmm.
making them know that okay, they have this platform and it is accessible. But
Yeah.
the only challenge is that if they have a device, at least they can use it individually. You know that they
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
have access to different resource materials and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, they can use it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I think you can still demo it with both the teachers and the students. For the students, you can have them in batches. You can have, so if you have 40 people in a class, you can say 5 people to a table, right? 5 people to a table. It's going to be like trainers and all that, right? But for that introductory session, 5 people to a table, you put one device in front of them. So each of them create an account, for example. Do you see? So each of them create an account, and then and since creating an account is like, I don't know, a 5 minutes job, right? So one person creates the account, another person creates the account, and then they pass it around, and then when they're done, they all have accounts and they sign out, right? And maybe there's just one account that is signed in, and then you go through. So you have to now do it as like one session after the other, right? Do like maybe You're using the first 30 minutes for signing up, right? After signing up, the next 20 minutes for going through resources, then the next 30 minutes, and in these 30 minutes, each of the students are going through the activities one after the other, right? Within the small collectives that they are groups of 4 and 5, right? And then the teachers are also, you can now have a separate session with the teachers as well, okay? Where you have the teachers go through the platform. The hardest thing that you do, to be honest, aside this thing, is showing them why this is necessary, right? And this is because they can't easily see any RDC content there. Do you get? So they can't see any RDC content. It does not have a direct relatability for them. So you now need to tell them that, okay, this is really just simulating how digital platforms work. So they know how they work. And then if you have access to other